Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Between the Sharks YouTube program for another action-packed episode. I mean, probably not, but it might be marginally entertaining. This week, we're doing a bit of an update from last week. Last week's episode, we bubbaed this thing together, and this contraption worked swimmingly. However, unfortunately for us, the chemistry didn't do quite as well. Thought I would take you fellas around for a quick once over on what the products we used did. The brush cutter and the Ortho, whatever. This one and this one. So we did our best to stay pretty close to the mix ratios. We mixed a little strong. It had rained previously, like prior a day or so. And then we had dry weather for a while. So that's ideal conditions for spraying these products according to their own instructions. We're gonna start right here because there's quite a variety of stuff right here. Now, all of the brown stuff, you'll see most of this was the BioAdvance brush killer, and this was a huge patch of poison ivy. What's happened in the last 10 days or so is pretty much the poison ivy is gone. The English ivy doesn't care nothing about that product. It's doing just fine. So down here on the edge of the property, we did basically spray the perimeter, trying to beat some of this back, and to a degree, there was some success. We're definitely going back in there manually, mechanically, whatever you want to call it, and like we're gonna have to clear this out, but it does help to be able to see. It's a little less thick. We can be a bit more strategic about it. I'm not unhappy with these results. Obviously, I did not think it was gonna vaporize anything here. So personally, I was hoping to see some results to help us get closer to the building that's back here. As you can see, there is not much of a dent. We've got monkey grass. Whatever this tree was took a beating, but everything else, again, English ivy didn't care at all about these products. And it's kind of that way all the way around. Not the results I wanted, but looks like we'll be getting in there with a chainsaw and a stick, the brush hog we built, and all that. I mean, maybe this area is a little bit better than expected. That was all poison ivy back there. So at least we can see one side of the building, which is better than we had been able to see. What, is that right? Out here in the front, same results. You know, the English ivy does not care about these chemicals. However, the poison ivy that was all right here, die, poison ivies, die, is all dead now, and that's great. In fact, I hadn't really been over here to look at this, but now I can see the rocks, which is great news. Now, granted, I am excited to put our little homemade bush hog to work, but that is the last thing I want to find with the bush hog, this row of rocks. So it's nice that the chemicals killed this enough that we can start seeing things, and if we can keep up with it, well, you know, all those other tools that we're building and buying and, you know, modifying will really come in handy around here. This is definitely an improvement. And then last of all, the Wisteria. So let's take a closer look, because that's not as much success as it appears to be right now. In the southeast, Wisteria, kudzu, and English ivy are just, I mean, they thrive in this climate. They're nearly impossible to deal with. So as an experiment, I actually cut a couple of these stalks. Like, you can see how big this is. They just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And they climb this tree, and you can see this one that I cut. I mean, it goes up at least 30 feet before I can't see the dead stuff anymore. And the reason this is such a big deal, I mean, there's your evidence right there. It is pulling this tree down piece by piece. So eventually, obviously, this whole tree is going to come down, and well, so are all of these trees. And that can be pretty dangerous for a fella. I mean, that's no joke. This thing is as tall as I am. I don't know what it weighs, but the way that it's stuck in the ground like that, if my noodle had been under there, it would have been enough to kill me. That is for sure. So it's just a situation we're gonna have to deal with. So in my research on how to deal with Wisteria, especially anything this bad, it is to indeed cut the stalks and then apply an herbicide to the freshly cut stalk and then hope for the best. We clearly are not going to win this battle, but we need to try to make a dent, because every single one of these trees from here for the next, like, oh, I don't know, mile is getting covered like this. This is the wall moving uphill, and that is bad news. So we gotta see what we can do to stop it. Also want you guys to take a look at this. So I've got the mower up on its side. This wrapped around the spindle, Wisteria. And that's not fresh Wisteria I mowed over. That is stuff that we pulled out with the mini excavator weeks ago in whatever video that was. Happened to be laying on the ground, I hit it. It's strong as rope, man. I was joking that you could rig a sailing ship with these things, but I think it's quite real. And it threw the belt off and I gave up on it on the day. So get to fix this too. Also because of Wisteria. So we're back here at the other property. I thought I'd wrap it up here because you can see I have similar problems everywhere. And to sum up the products, that was probably $150 worth of chemicals that we sprayed over an acre. I think it was worth it. At the end, I do think it was worth it. I wanted to see more results on our biggest problems, which are the Wisteria and English ivy. While neither of these products claimed to be able to take care of Wisteria or English ivy, I thought I'd give it a whirl because, you know, gotta do something, right? But the things that it did claim to do, like take care of poison ivy, it did gangbusters. The fact that it eradicated the poison ivy anywhere it was sprayed is a huge plus, because when you start slinging that stuff around, like, it can be bad news. And then the other thing it did is it showed us where some of the obstacles are. It uncovered rocks that we weren't able to see, stuff like that. So now it's a lot easier to go in mechanically and remove stuff. So we'll probably have to do a similar thing back here on this fence line, and then we'll be able, hopefully, to see all of the things in the way back there, because, well, it's bad. Anyway, good luck on your projects out there. I hope this helps somebody. If so, mash the subscribe button because that helps me out. And we'll see you next time on Between the Sharks.